Hello and good evening. Thank you, TEDx. Thank you, JPS. Thank you, Dr. Sandeep Jain and this beautiful team. Thank you, lovely audience, for being here. How exciting and happy would we be if we were to say that whatever you aspire, you would achieve in life? Seems magical, right? Right? Almost untrue, isn't it? Now, we all aspire to be superheroes in life. Unfortunately, we don't have any origin stories. Neither does the lightning strike to make me a Thor. Neither there is a radioactive spider around here to make me a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Nor have I inherited any billions of dollars so that I can become an Iron Man. Yet we nurture to be superheroes. And believe me, each of you present in this room and those who are viewing it have that superpower within you. It is that inside force, that spirit within each of us that lets us reset, refocus, and rise anytime and every time a challenge is thrown up at us. That could be any challenge in life, whether we are toddlers to as young as I am, as Sandeep keeps referring to. But that is what it is. So, just be with me, listen with intent, absorb all that is relevant to you and you alone, and see how you can be the magician of your own life. So we spoke about superpower. We all want to be having that superpower. And I said we all have it. So if it starts with us, which means it's self, and when it is self, it kind of reflects us with our mindset. Now, all of us gathered in this room right now may have varied mindset. Some of you have a happy mindset, some of you have anxious mindset, some of you want to learn something unique like never before. I hope somebody are not only bored already, we still have some way to go and a coffee break. But the fact is that we do have those all the time. And in this process of us trying to explore our mindset, we encounter something which is called as mind blocks. I also call them productivity blockers. Now one would say, what does one mean by mind blocks and how do I identify it? It's very simple. Let me name some of the mind blocks which will resonate with you. Fear of change? Yes? Fear of failure? Yes? Some more. Ego. And remember this word because I'm going to touch upon it one more time. Giving away power to others, which is allowing others to control your emotions. Being risk averse. I want to be safe. Let me be happy in my comfort zone. These factor in and many more as mind blocks. And we all have it at different phases of life, and every time we kind of think through a new action. So, having understood these mind blocks, how do we deal with it? Simple. Confront them fearlessly. How do you confront them fearlessly? I have a simple solution to this. What I do is I set up my thinking triggers. Since mindsets are originating from mind, I would start confronting them in my mind with thinking triggers. So for example, if I'm stuck with a problem statement, for example, Dr. Sandeep Jain called me up and said that, hey, we want you on this particular day on TEDx. And I may have had some compulsive engagement that I had committed to my customer. The problem statement, I cannot be at TEDx? Convert that into question. How can I be at TEDx? Because that's my goal. I would love to be there. Now, suddenly, my mind has shifted to providing me solutions and not living with my problem statements. Engage yourself with a group of challengers. They will ignite and they will challenge the spirit out of you to make you something worthy. Like students, if you are stuck up on something that is kind of blocking you, that is pulling you down, just like a mind block, form yourself a group which is called as a zero judgment group. And in that, let anybody and everybody ask you dumbest of dumbest question. The focus there is to empower each other, enable each other, and respond to whatever they have as their questions, and see how your mind starts working. This implies that mind is actually upgradable and mind blocks are not permanent if I am able to address them convincingly and fearlessly. What I need to do is I need to replace these mind blocks with curiosity, intention, and resilience. And suddenly, I find myself to be motivated and driven to be innovating in whatever I'm facing as a challenge today. The challenge may be this subject is tough, or this chapter is tough. The challenge may be this teacher, I cannot understand what this teacher is teaching me, and whatnot. Any challenges that you look at it, start adopting these. As we extend the mind aspect, another thing that goes hand in hand is habits. Realize that we all have gone through these experiences of having habits that probably are draining our mental energy. They sap our energy out. And suddenly you start wondering that, hey, I have been doing this and this is just draining me out, and you don't know what to do next. Be mindful, keep a red flag to any habit that is going to drain your energy out, and make sure that you are able to replace with a good habit. And I'm sure each of us present in this room have at least changed one habit in our lifetime, if not more, where we have been able to get a better one to make us a better person. So if you've done it once, it is a repeatable and a wonderful thing to keep doing ourselves. Another important area which a lot of people kind of shirk away from is loving solitude. I believe that is a very powerful zone of productivity which everyone should indulge in occasionally. Don't do it all the time. Okay? And specifically students, not when your parents are saying that, hey, you need to do this, and relax, I'm in my solitude. So don't do that. Okay? So solitude is a zero judgment zone, which means that you are with yourself, nobody else to judge. In that process, you are introspecting harder for your self-development and self-improvisation. Think about it. I had a bit of a disappointment at the start of my 12th standard because I missed my engineering seat by a couple of marks. Disappointed I was, but I took BSc Statistics as the majors, passed out as the top 2 students in the college, and lo and behold, I also got myself a job even before my 3rd year results were out. Now this essentially gave me a lesson that accept what you are and where you are and what you do, because this is a great grounding for us as human beings to recognize and be honest to ourselves. The moment we are honest to ourselves, it helps us keep our aspirations, keep our ambitions, keep what we want to do next, a lot more practical and pragmatic that we will never be disappointed. As we look at acceptance, I look at ego. Remember I spoke about this word, right? A lot of people feel ego is negative, right? Right. But here is a twist that I want to share with you. Ego is actually a great attribute for a sustained progress if you know it right. And let me help you understand this. If you know, and let us be very clear here, right? All of us have egos here. And we all love our egos to be pampered. Okay? So we are not kidding about it. But the beauty about this is that if we know where, what, and how our ego can be pampered. For example, as a salesperson, if my ego is pampered when I receive an order from the customer, if I'm a startup founder, if I am receiving the best valuation and funding from a venture capitalist, as a student, if I'm excelling in all the exams that I am giving, this is the only pivot at which I am having my ego pampered. Nothing else matters. Everything is trivia. So as a salesperson, if my customer makes me wait for 5 hours to meet, no problem. If my customer does not offer me tea, no problem. Because when is my ego going to be pampered? When he gives me the order. That's it. So, converting what you have as your mindset and having it more productively and progressively aligned to ourselves can make wonders. Another aspect that I saw was that, remember I missed my engineering seat, but I got a job. I got a job in 1982 with a computer company. So here I was, a non-engineer, amongst every computer engineers around me in Mumbai office. There were 100 of them. It overwhelmed me. I wasn't sure what am I going to do. But in 6 months' time, I became the most sought after resource of that 100 odd people, where everybody used to ask me to talk to their customer, give them demo, and speak technology. And this is when I realized that it was my sheer grittiness that helped me transition from a non-engineer to even somebody like a computer engineer seeking my support and help. Now that was a transition and travel which I was able to do by sheer grit. Grit is all about guts, resilience, initiative, and tenacity. Let me give you one more example of grittiness of some of the school students that I was mentoring. They were from Delhi Government Public School, 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th standard. And these kids were probably living in a very, very deplorable habitat. They may not have had smartphones, they may not have had a good internet connection, but yet they were seeking to be entrepreneurs. And I'm not kidding you, because of the interaction that I've had with these kids. A group of girls, they made edible cups for coffee shops. And they had paying customers. Another group of boys made a battery backup of 25,000 mAh and were selling it at 550 rupees. And these were 10th, 11th, and 12th standard students who believed that they want to create employment rather than seek employment. That's the grit that I'm talking about. And it is all there. So all that I am sharing with you is within us. Let us be aware of law of conformity. What is law of conformity? It is nothing but being conscious about the group we are in. If I am in the group of frequent party goers, I will become one at one point of time. If I am in the group of challengers, of people who believe that nothing is impossible, I will become one at some point in time. And that is where we suddenly transition ourselves. As we look at these aspects, we suddenly realize that these are the attributes that we all have. So we are now looking at that superpower which is going to yield us the acceptability in terms of our responsibility, understanding what we have as in control and out of control, as well as looking at letting go of past regrets. We don't want to really go into any level of emotional baggage. My dear friends, sports athletes are essentially the ones who carry country's burden, who carry fans' expectation, who have pains and excuses and a lot of things that they go along with it, and yet they emerge champion. It does not require this superpower to be for you to be a sport athlete. It is there in you. As I said, it is that invisible force that you can beckon whenever you want it at any given point of time. So, you are the fire, you are the force, and you are the grit. So go out there, make yourself that superpower that you always want to be, anytime, any place. That is your power and that is your super bullet. Thank you.